So I get to introduce really a friend of mine, a guy that I think is a tremendous speaker, super funny, super knowledgeable. He's going to come and talk about Gen Z. Let's watch a short video before we bring him up.
My phone.
Probably my phone, because that's how I communicate with people, and so, sorry, that was my phone.
Facebook.
Cable TV.
YouTube.
Probably my phone, because all of the stuff you listed that isn't cable TV, I can have on my phone.
10 to 15 messages.
30.
Maybe like 50.
100. Over 1,000.
Texting's more like informal, and like you're not gonna send like a whole like dear professor whatever.
Trying to get a message through quickly.
Texting is for young people.
Email is for business.
Teachers.
Dinosaurs.
Old people. Phone calls are for moms.
Gossip. Grandmas.
If I'm calling someone on the phone, it's because it's something that's like I need their attention on right away.
YouTube.
YouTube.
You go to YouTube.
My first response is a textbook because I'm old school.
I always go to school. I ask questions, and sometimes I work on my computer.
I do actually want to build my own business with leather crafts and embroidery work.
Probably like at the Humane Society.
If I was alone, I wouldn't get anything done, so that's be like a lot of people. But like at the same time, I need to be able to do my own stuff. So a lot of people where I can have my own space and do my own stuff, but if I need help, I can go to them and then they can help me.
Yeah, I just love working in a kitchen and making people smile when I give them really good food.
Anything that involves nature, maybe going to the Amazon or something, and I feel like those opportunities are worth more than a paycheck.
I'm gonna be a ballerina all the days, and on Mondays and Tuesdays I'm gonna be a veterinarian. On the weekends I'm going to be a scientist.
Every generation has some kind of culture to it, but that doesn't make them any lesser than the previous one.
A lot of things are more accepted or are in the spotlight that weren't before. And I see a lot of like older people that don't get it.
We're not stupid. We go to our sources, you know, we make resumes, we get jobs, we work really hard.
Probably that being on your phone all the time is like a waste of time, because I mean you can learn stuff, you can be entertained. I have a lot of word games, so I'm learning words, people.
A lot of older people are like, yeah, you just like go out and find a job. Just walk in and ask for a job and you'll get a job. It's like, no, you won't. Like, they won't even have an application most of the time. Like, you have to like go online and then you don't see anyone in person, and then half the time you never hear back, so.
That we're lazy and that we don't work as hard as they do or as they did. We are like so much more at an advantage in our generation because we have technology. And I don't think that like hinders us at all from like having a good work ethic.
Like all the jobs are probably gonna have something to do with technology pretty soon, so.
Just tell me what you got in front of you. What's that?
The computer.
Yeah, what do you got?
Do you even know what a computer is?
Do you know what a computer is?
Yeah, it's what you do on work.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to concentrate on doing work.
All right. Welcome to the stage, the Director of Employment Branding from Universum, James Ellis.
All right, everybody can hear me? Fantastic. 1, 2, 3, go. Let's rock and roll. I know lunch is coming. Don't worry. I realized after I titled this that it really should just be called, "You Kids Get Off My Lawn and Apply for My Jobs." Please, right? That's where we need to be. Okay. Make the clicky, do the clicky. All right, so simple definitions. Gen Z, 4 to 24 years old, right? People still think the kids are millennials. The kids are 35 and 37, right? Gen Z are 24 years old. They're also pretty young. That ball of delight is mine. I'm scared. Just putting that out there. All right, let's get into the real stuff. So are generations even a thing? Quick show of hands, quick involvement. You're never going to capture this. This is going to be a lot of action shots. I just pace. When people think and are told what Gen Z wants, what do they want? Shout out. Speed. Simplicity. What do they want out of jobs? What do they want out of life? Flexibility. Purpose. Initiative. Okay, great. Now anybody here a Gen Y, a millennial here in the room? Interested in purpose, interested in speed, interested in flexibility? No, you didn't think so. I'm a Gen Xer. I have no interest in impact whatsoever, or in purpose, or value, or speed at all, clearly. Can I have some more coffee back here? Thanks. Okay. My parents, who are boomers, when they left college, the reason they protested, the reason they did sit-ins, the reason they wore whatever the hell they were wearing, it was because they wanted impact. They wanted to change the world. This whole impact meaning thing is bull. We've been lied to. Turns out every 24-year-old in the world wants to make an impact. They came out of school and they go, how do I do that better? That's what they are. So I guess the question is, are generations even a thing? I'm looking at you, Lane. No reason. Anyway, are generations even a thing? And I think they are and they aren't. If we remove the whole impact purpose thing and remove ourselves from the demographics, what if we focus on what happens as they became adults? What if we focused on, okay, I'm 22, I want to make an impact in the world, I want to have a meaningful job. Oh crap, we're at war. Oh crap, there's a recession. Oh, fantastic, biggest economic boom in ever. Oh boy, climate change. All those things connect dots that make the generations what we think of today. So let's do the macroeconomic forces, and I didn't write that slide so I could prove to you that I went to college and know words like macroeconomics. Hey. Baby boomers, they had one income. They had one income, they went to college. My parents put me and my brother through college. They owned a house. They took the occasional vacation. They did it the standard way. My dad worked, my mom stayed home and raised me. Standard baby boomer stuff. Gen Xers? One income? What am I, nuts? There's no way. My wife works. But we own a house. So that's kind of a thing. It falls apart half the time. But we're building property. Gen Y, millennials, they're working 2 jobs to rent. They can't scrape together, they're nodding, I love this. They can't scrape together that down payment. It's a huge hurdle for them. And Gen Z, they're working 5 jobs, they're Ubering, they're lifting, they're task rabbiting, they have a day job, they have a side hustle, they have a side hustle to the side hustle. They're putting 3 in a room, but they're lazy. Right? But I'm a big believer in you are what you eat. What information you are fed as you grew. There's a funny theory that the band you listened to most when you were 14 is your favorite band for the rest of your life. Yeah, there's Holland. There's Holland. You better come original. Anyway, only Holland gets that joke, and that's fine. I'm really a comedy of one situation here. As I pick you out, I'll find you. Greatest generation, newspapers. Back in the day when you would get 2 and sometimes even 3 newspapers. That's all the information in the world you would ever get. Baby boomers, TV. 3, 4, maybe even 5 channels. Nightly news, local news, okay. Getting a little more information, got some choice there. Gen X, generation cable, 57 channels and nothing's on. I mean, before the internet, an entire cable dedicated to the weather probably made a lot of sense. Who's watching it now? No, really, who's watching the Weather Channel now? Don't answer, that's for later. Gen Y, this is where things get interesting. The internet, everybody know that the internet, it's a thing, it's going to be a thing, cool. Generation Google. This is the generation that simply said, I have a question, I'm going to ask it, I'm going to get an answer. What is the capital of Scotland? How long do you boil a hard-boiled egg? Is this a rash? Whatever it is. You ask the Google says if the answer is 7, 27, see a doctor, whatever it is, right? That's how it works. We use the Google to get information. Now, some of you are skipping ahead and you see the next line. You see Generation YouTube. Isn't that the same as Google, James? No, it's not. There's a subtle difference, and I'm on stage, so I get to ask and answer the question. Sorry. You apply next time. The trick with YouTube, as you kind of saw in that video, is it's not about learning a fact. It's about learning information. If I want to learn how long to boil a hard-boiled egg, the answer is 7 minutes, by the way. 3 minutes from now, you're all going to forget that piece of information. It's just a data point. And you know you can Google it again, so who cares? You don't have to retain anything. Google does that stuff for you. But if I show you a 5-minute video in which I boil an egg for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, you get the answer, right? And then I slice them open. You can see, okay, that one's raw. That's a little white. Okay, that's kind of almost a soft-boiled. It's still gross. Okay, here we're into soft-boiled. Okay, here's, oh, that's creamy and that's delicious. And oh, that's a rubber ball. That's a 5-minute video. It's got 3 million views. Now you know how long to cook an egg. Now you understand some basic chemistry. You understand some basic physics of how heat enters the egg, processes the protein. You are legitimately learning something. You want to learn how to unclog a toilet? YouTube it. You want to learn how to change your tire on your car? YouTube it. Want to learn how to swap out a motherboard on your computer? YouTube it. All that adulting stuff that we don't teach kids anymore, why should we? YouTube's got that down. How do I file my taxes? YouTube it. It's not just how to get through that level of Minecraft or level of Fortnite. It's about real stuff. I bought my bag. I watched an unpacking 10-minute unpacking video about a backpack to learn every stupid little feature. Bought that thing. And I know every little feature. It's how you learn. And what's interesting about it is once you realize how quickly you can learn, you realize Generation YouTube is actually something different. It's Generation Keanu. You just download that stuff, man. Plug it in your head and you got it. You want to learn how to dance? YouTube video. You want to learn how to give a toast at your best friend's wedding? YouTube that. You can learn anything on YouTube. That is to say, instant knowledge. Not facts, learning. So hey, how you doing? I'm James Ellis. I am apparently the newest employer at Universum. I start on Monday. That's how new I am. I haven't even started yet. I also have a little podcast called The Talent Cast. I don't know if anybody listens to that. If you do, I have stickers. Thank you, Audra. My fan club is sitting right here. Yeah, so if you like the sound of my voice, have I got the podcast for you? The Talent Cast. I feel like my butt's just vibrating from my Twitter account now. It's like, this idiot, I can't believe it. Anyway, so one more big trend. Who here knows what Moore's Law is? Show of hands, Moore's Law. There we go, there we go. Smarties in front, thank you. Moore's Law says that the processing power for a given dollar amount doubles every 18 months. Flip it, processors get twice as fast for the same dollar figure every 18 months. This isn't a law that started last month. This is a law that started in the 60s. Every 18 months, double. Every 18 months, double. Every 18 months, double. Every 18 months, double. You get the point. That's why the amount of code it takes to run a version of Candy Crush is how much code they use to go to the moon. And it's just sitting on your phone. It's $4. $5 if you want the cheat codes. All that processing power allows us to do some pretty amazing things. It's not just, okay, raw power. It's not the same way that cars get faster and faster until suddenly they're doing 4,000 miles an hour. You can't control a car like that. What they're actually doing is automating stuff. So when I say stuff, I think about things like cars for some reason, even though I don't own one. So if you wanted to build a car, you used to have to say, okay, I'm going to get some, call it steel, make an axle, stick some wheels on it, build a chassis, put some body panels on it. You made a car. And it took 6 to 12 months. Not surprisingly, everybody tried it and no one finished. It's kind of like knitting a quilt. And then someone said, okay, I figured that out. I bet I could just figure out how to make 100 body panels and 100 axles and 100 chassis, and someone else who doesn't have my experience can just put them together. That's automating 101. Move your brain up the chain, let somebody come in behind you and backfill. Then making body panels was simple. But now I'm going to make a machine that makes body panels for me. Pow, 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 pow. And somebody else will count them, and somebody else will assemble them. Let's keep going. I'm going to build the robot that takes the panel from the machine I built and glues and welds them together. I'm automating processes. The person who designs the robot has a doctorate in mechanical engineering. The person who hits the button and watches to make sure it works doesn't. Automation. We're not done. When you say that you work on cars these days, what you're really saying more often than not is that you write the software that optimizes the supply chain and the warehouse mechanics to ensure that you're knocking out 2 extra cars an hour via optimization. Are you building a car? You're building a lot of cars, actually, but are you building a car? And every level of abstraction, building a car, building the pieces, piecing the pieces together, building the machine that makes the pieces, building the machine that puts the pieces together, optimizing the factory. It's levels of abstraction, deeper and harder. The computer's the same way. Anybody here type binary all day long? Of course not. There's like 17 layers of stuff, of operating systems and softwares and stuff between you and a bit, between you and a 1 and a 0. Same level of automation. When you say you work on computers, you don't go, I'm going to make a chip. You don't say, I'm going to craft 1s and 0s. You do whatever it is we do all day. We work on computers. That's the generation these people are coming into. All the real manual, physical, I understand what the hell is happening behind the scenes work is gone. They work on the 7th or 12th or 15th layer of abstraction. They hit a button, they don't know what they do. Think about a drone pilot who doesn't know what they're looking at because they're looking at stuff literally thousands of miles away. The software says, that's a good person, that's a bad person. Take more pictures of that. Don't take more pictures of that. Pilot's just there. This is the world they're entering into. They're automating everything. One more. You've heard software as a service. Earlier we heard infrastructure and platform as a service. You know the next step is brains as a service. So if you were to invent a new app, let's say you're just going to say, you know what, Uber, I'm going to take you down. That's a horrible idea, by the way. What would it take to make an Uber? Okay, well, you have to know what a car is. You have to know how many people go into a car, and some cars are big and some cars are small. Some cars have different run rates. Some cars are different levels of expense to run. Okay. Where does the car run? It runs on a road, and sometimes it's a road like 200 Stewart Street here, and sometimes it's a highway. Sometimes when it's on a highway, it's got a latitude and longitude. Sometimes when it's on a street, you have to tell the system that 200 Stewart Street is next to 202 Stewart Street. 201 Stewart Street is across the street. If you want to pick someone up at 202, don't go at a 200. What's the difference for that information? All that stuff you'd have to invent. But actually you wouldn't, because someone already did. Someone already figured out the geography language. Somebody already figured out address language. Somebody already figured out product language, natural language processing. If you ask a robot, I need a 2-inch screw, how confident can you be that you're going to get one 2-inch screw? How confident do you understand that the robot knows what an inch is or a screw is? All that processing power is available via subscription. Someone's already invented it. And what we can do is we can start to put these pieces together. A world in which everything is automated, a world in which everything's already been built, a world in which you can learn anything in a heartbeat, and a world in which you want purpose. This gets complicated. Because while we think it's instant learning, really it's learning at a wholesale level. I'm going to learn the entire canon of philosophy, and it's going to take me about a week. I'm just going to go download. I'm going to watch those videos. I'm going to write the paper. Boom, did it, done. I'm going to go to the Harvard classes and download all those classes, and now I know robotics. I'm going to go learn coding real fast. It could be at a boot camp, it could be a Udemy, it could be Audacity, or it could be any number of other channels. It could be a YouTube video. I can start to put things together that no one's ever thought of, not because I've invented all the stuff under it, but because I'm literally just plugging things together. So let's pivot for a second. And I am doing great on time. That's terrifying. More jokes. What's your job? If you're a salesperson, what is your job? Is your job to pick up the phone 20 times an hour and smile and dial? Is your job to enter each one of those phone calls into Salesforce, documenting that you made that phone call and that you got yelled at each and every time? Is your job to build the pitch when the one person out of 100 actually answers and listens to you? Is that your job? No. A salesperson's job is to sell, to make money via sales. Now, what if we took the phone and the Salesforce and all that stuff away and said, look, figure it out. You know what all the tools are. Make money happen. And you say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a webinar. I'm going to make an event. And I'm going to invite a bunch of smart people to listen to what I have to say. And some of them will throw money at me. Is that sales? What if you invent an app that shows how the thing you sell interacts with people's daily lives? App building's easy, apparently. I can't do it, but I'm not that young. But putting those tools together is a very quick process. And you want to learn the code language that does it? Again, YouTube. You can put it together. So are you a software developer or are you a salesperson? The lines are going to get blurry all over the place. Look at nursing. 20, 30 years ago, nursing's job could be boiled down to do what the doctor told you to do. Anybody been in a hospital the last couple years? Watson's got nothing on what most emergency rooms run in terms of level of technology, amount of data, amount of information, and how complex it gets. A nurse's job is to understand how all that technology works together, to be able to identify that one machine is beeping in the wrong way, to know that that drug should not be treated for that person, that it was a misread on some level. A nurse is expected to do all that. But the nurse's job is to save lives. It's just that the ecosystem around the concept of saving lives, just as the ecosystem around sales, has radically changed. So what's a job? A job is really an outcome, not a series of tasks. And the problem is we've all been conditioned that it's a series of tasks. You're a recruiter, pick up the phone, process those resumes, pick up the phone, call someone, set up a screen. Pick someone, introduce them to the hiring manager, do it again, do it again, do it again. Except that's not a recruiter's job. Recruiter's job is to go, you're the genius I want to talk to. In a room of 1 million geniuses, to pick the one person, bring them up, prep them, set them up for success until the hiring manager goes, I don't know where you found that person, but she's a flippin' genius. That's a recruiter's job. Where does the word ATS involve itself in that process? Where does the word CRM involve itself in that process? Or employer brand? It doesn't. If you focus on the outcome, the recruiter can figure out how to put that stuff together. Because what's magical about the concept of what's your job is that no one knows. Show of hands, how many people have recently had to hire someone that they weren't really 100% sure what that person did? It's happening more. Literally, you hire people and say, we need help with this thing. I don't know jack about this thing. You tell me what to do. Right? How many people hire employer brandings have any idea what employer branding is? You go, you tell us. You're the expert. This is a whole generation of people who've been told, you tell us. You're the expert. That's terrifying. But it's a huge opportunity because what's happening is the covenant that my parents pretty much killed, that said, you work for us forever, and in the process, we will take care of you forever. How many people here have a pension? How many people even know what the hell a pension is? 2, congratulations. You're not Gen Z. Okay. You're a little older than that. That covenant died. You're on your own, kids. You figure it out. You build the skills. You tell us what to do. The job is what you think it is. You figure it out. And the rest of us go, I'm going to go get the rule book and say, do this. And that's not going to fly. When we talk about the concept of entitlement, right? First time I've used the word entitled. Do I get bingo? We talk about entitlement, what we see is, I want flexibility. I want speed. I want it at my pace. I want to work from home. And it sounds like nagging. It sounds like greediness. It sounds like entitlement, but it's not. It's a simple reaction to the changing construct of the covenant. Because we're telling these kids, you're on your own. And they said, great, let me figure it out. So there's the line between the old covenant and the new. We'll tell you what to do, because we know better. We have the grand plan in mind. Just do what you're told. Play by the rules, play the politics the right way, and you'll be taken care of. Anybody feel that way about their job today? Didn't think so. The old rule said, cost of living increase here and there, but you're working towards that big fat promotion, which is never as fat as you want it to be. Never. And there's no why. Just do as you're told. Just do what we told you to do. Shut up and do your job. But it's all different now. It's not about the task, it's about the outcome. Help us solve this problem. Help us fix this thing. Help us understand a new audience. Help us reach new people. Help us, help us, help us. The language itself is radically different than what we used to hear. Companies don't say help us, or didn't say help us 20 years ago. They said beg for a job, crawl beneath my ATS. No, 2 pages on that resume or I'm throwing it out. How did we control that? How did we make that happen? What kind of weird recruiting power is that? That we said everybody has to have a resume and it looks exactly like this. I don't know. Yes to flexibility. Yes to understanding that it's not about the number of hours you put in picking up the phone. It's about the total outcome. So if you can do your monthly sales target on the 3rd day of the month, go home. You earned it. And give them some purpose. Look, Simon Sinek isn't a millionaire famous person because he got lucky. That whole start with why thing is real. If you understand why you're doing a thing, you do a thing better. We heard earlier that people who are happy at their job are better at their job. Not a shock, right? Turns out being happy is a function of expectations. Look, everybody's job sucks some days. Everybody's job sucks some days. Let me say it one more time for everybody live streaming at home. Everybody's job sucks some days. But you show up because you have a purpose. You show up because you have a meaning, because you found your why. And if you give them that why, they provide better value. They do better work. Everybody recently added the line, must be comfortable in a cross-functional environment to their job posting lately. The hell does that mean? It's right up there with must be excellent written and spoken communication skills. Am I giving an aria? Are we doing haiku in my job? What the hell does this mean? But I've been dealing with startups lately, and what I'm realizing is that the concept of must be okay with a cross-functional world presumes that cross-functional is something you do every once in a while. You stay in your bubble, you stay in your lane, you stay in your silo, and every once in a while you go, does that work? And then you come back and stay in your bubble. How the hell are we going to get our job done if we stay in our bubble? How can we be amazing at what we do if we stay in our lane? Each and every person who can hear me, your job is to get the hell out of that bubble and go make friends. Not like this. This is awkward. We'll talk later. But to make friends, to understand if you're a recruiter, developer, nurse, I don't care what, and you go make friends with a different kind of recruiter, developer, nurse, I don't care what, your skill set plus their skill set is value. That's where the value happens. If you can learn anything instantly, the value happens at the intersections. When you understand how another recruiter lives, when you understand how a machine learning expert lives, when you understand what a developer does all day. That collaboration, that true cross-functional, isn't going to be the exception. It is going to be your 99% job. You're going to be expected to walk in day one to know how to do your job. Now go figure out how to apply it to everybody else. That's your job. Clicky, clicky. And that's what we talk about, that covenant. They say we want flexibility. I almost broke into song with Cher and Bono. That was really awkward. No one gets those jokes. I'm old. The irony of the oldest guy in the room talking about Gen Z. Anybody got a joke for that? No? Okay, we'll talk later. I don't know what that's about. But the idea that we had a covenant and we still apply for this covenant rules. We still think, do your job. We still get annoyed when that Gen Zer says, why do we do it this way? Because this is a pain in the butt, right? This is getting in your way. But what they want to do is not become a pain in the butt, not to become a nuisance, not to become a pest, but to learn. Because that's what the new covenant is. We've told them your job is to figure it out. Your job is to learn. Your job is to do that stuff. Well, then what the heck is your job? Except to teach them. So when they come all demanding and asking for flexibility and asking for education, and asking for training and asking for opportunity and asking for flexibility, all that stuff, that's what they're asking for. It's not greed. It's pure self-knowledge that if I don't figure it out, I'm screwed. So you want to attract great people at this age? Because soon they're going to be your boss. Not kidding. Have you seen my kid? She's coming for your jobs. And better you than me. Anyway, they want development. They want to have the opportunity to show they can do this job, to take their experience and apply it in a new audience, apply it in a new framework, apply it in a new arena, right? They know how to code JavaScript, but do they know how to code JavaScript in a pharmaceutical-grade regulatory environment? That's real power. That's real skill. That's what they want. They want the opportunity to take what they've done and push the boundaries on it. Because they know every day their skill set rots. Every day someone's making a video that teaches people all the tricks to do their own job, and some kid behind them is learning those videos. So their job is to pick up new stuff every single day. You've got to give them the flexibility, not because they're going to go to the track all day. Who still goes to the track? But because they're spending that time learning. They're spending that time testing. And also because the macroeconomic effects effectively say, you need to pay the rent. And you need to give them purpose. Why do what they do? You've all heard the old chestnut about two people building, doing stonework, and somebody walks by and says, what are you doing? I'm building a wall. What are you doing? I'm building a cathedral. Which one of those two builders is building the better product? The one with purpose every single time. They understand what they're doing. They can envision the people standing beneath the ceiling of this cathedral or house of worship. They understand the concept of sacredness of this building. This guy wants to get out at 4:30. There's a difference, and that difference is purpose. So here's how it all comes together. Show them ultimately, because the old covenant's gone. You cannot take care of these people. There is no pension. They're barely a retirement fund. What you're showing them is, I'm going to teach you the laws of the jungle. I'm going to teach you how to kill. I'm going to teach you how to stay healthy. And I'm going to teach you how to be self-sustaining. And with that, you get to figure out what you want to do with your life. Because the best employer brand, the best job posting, doesn't talk about foosball tables and beer on Friday. It talks about how working at this company, whatever company it is, makes someone's life better. And we've all forgotten that. We're all so focused on stuffing our CRMs full of emails that no one will read. We're all so busy telling LinkedIn, I'm hiring too. We're all so busy doing the stuff that we forgot what the outcome is all about. Helping people see how working for you makes their lives better. It ain't the salary. It's about the opportunity to get better somehow. Show them how they can do it on their own. Show them how they can build it on their own. Show them how they can test themselves, how you can help make them famous. Tie into whatever core motivations they have about themselves and their future, their lives. You think they want to drive an Uber all day for the rest of their lives? Of course not. You're the escape route to that. Present yourself as such. I put this down too early, and I'm clicking, and now I'm saying thank you. I'm here all day, so come find me. Thank you so much to Smashfly. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it.